This is Undergroundopolis.
Everything's uncertain. Tossed up in the air. Everybody's crying. They're pulling out the air. Everybody's hoping for the best. Eating a big dose of the world. Check your phone and grab your purse. We can't make it on this road too long. Another brother dying. No fault of his own. People crying, they want it back the way it was. We can't make it on this road too long. We can't make it on this road too long.
Howdy, howdy. I'm your guest host tonight. This is Buckshot George, filling in for Rob Lyon for the Undergroundopolis podcast presents The Ruckus with Kenny Moon and Ground Control tonight with opener Dave Wilson. Who's that guy? We got a plane going overhead. All right, let's let the plane pass.
Damn planes. Damn UPS.
So, yeah. Are you worked for UPS, didn't you?
No.
No, you didn't. You worked for one of those shipping companies.
One of them.
One of them. You're not gonna.
One of the four. I'm not allowed to speak about them.
Oh, okay. One of those things. What do they call it?
At least for a few more months.
A disparaging something. Anyway, we're going to talk about your music today. We're shaking a little bit here. Yeah. So this is Dave Wilson. Dave Wilson, I met when he was in the band Power Glide over at the Air Devil Inn. Is Power Glide still going?
Not as Power Glide. They are still improvising it out like crazy as Rhinodyne. Not sure if they're looking to play out anytime soon, but they are definitely starting to put a whole bunch of stuff out online, like on Reverb Nation, that sort of thing. Yeah, they are amazing. They really are. Those guys, Andy, Paul, Mike, and Steve, are just. That was a cool project. Just got to walk in and sing over top of guys. It's pretty cool.
So it was interesting story how we met. I had left a microphone, I guess, behind at a gig, and Dave stole it. And I had to go over his house and pick it up. That was my introduction to Dave, and he's a real kindred spirit. So it's definitely an honor to have Dave here tonight. But so you're a solo artist now, and as we know, you're home recording.
Yeah.
So you've got a new song you're going to debut tonight.
I got a call from a friend, and we've been in bands together, and she's starting a project, and she was like, Dave, would you write me a couple songs, and would you write with me? She had some subject matter, and the first one that kind of fell out, I'm going to try it out tonight. I'm going to try it out. It's called Daybreak, and really, I mean, a lot of these are new. A lot of these will be a lot of them.
I think you had another one you posted called Gold.
I posted Gold, like
Gold.
a big overproduced, a lot of fun overproducing a song. If you've ever done it, and if you've never done it, you should. Just because, like, when you can do, a few hundred tracks if you needed to, and you kind of want to, you kind of get to do that. But now Gold that I put out there a little bit is a version that was really all me late at night in GarageBand, except for the big soaring leads, and that is my man Mike Linehan, who was in basically every band I've been in. Basically, has been Mike and I, and He is in a great jam cover band called Sonic Vimana. Definitely look out for those guys.
Oh, very cool. So, speaking of your past band, you talk a lot about this Bali Shag, and yeah. So, what years did those guys run, and where are they from, and all that? What's the basic information?
Bali Shag was a Lexington band from like 90, I guess 90, maybe 94 to about 98, 99, and it was just a pure 90s jam band. It was at that time when Leftover Salmon could be caught playing at a bar in Lexington still, and things like that. So everything, Fish was like on their only 4th album or something like that. And
oh, wow.
so it was really that kind of, really, I mean, jam was really popping, and yeah, Bali Shag, we had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun writing a lot of music for that kind of band too. It was, you know, at times you got to remember, like, okay, I've got a keyboard guy that needs a solo, and I got a guitar guy that needs a solo, and we need a drum break, and if we can work in a drum circle at some point, that'd be good too. Which lends itself to having a lot of fun for the first time being solo and just writing. That the only thing I got to please is me. And how I want to play it, and it might get banded out. These songs might get banded out at some point, but right now I'm just looking forward to start putting them all down as just a simple acoustic recording, and it's really about the stories. I think really that's kind of what I am, more of a storyteller as anything.
Yeah, that's cool. So you were talking about jam bands and the way you approach it musically. Some of the bands don't do it in the same way you do. You remember we were discussing that? I don't know if I'm confusing you with that question, but
well, I mean, there's listening for sure.
Yeah.
And tonight we're going to hear a lot of listening. That they do a lot of improvisation, came in ground control. So we're gonna you'll have a fun time watching them listen to each other and watching them see each other, and so yeah, I mean, with jam bands, I don't want to say formulaic, but
that's what you were saying.
Most
some
music
are
is
not as good as others, and
yeah. Some the songs aren't always there. They're ditties that just get you to the solos, and I always like to think that Bali Shag and even recently Dave Wilson and Risky Shift here around Louisville, that it was more, there was a substance to it, and we were going to jam you, and we were going to play a bunch of lead, and we were going to 15-minute solo if that's what's happening, that, but it would come back out to something that actually did mean a lot of things. And in that early, when Bali Shag was around in particular, there was a lot of nothingness, and that was fine. I mean, I can't write nothing. I think I tend to have too many deep stories I want to tell, actually.
So you've got more of a storytelling style with your songwriting these days?
No, I don't think my lyric style has changed at all for the past 40 years. It's just that I think you can hear them better now. Yeah. You can hear the story now, and you can take plane trips if you need to. We're at the airport Holiday Inn.
Well, no Rob Lyon interview would be complete without this question. If you could open for any artist, who would it be?
Wow, if I could open for any artist, who would it be? Steven Wilson.
Steven Wilson.
Steven Wilson is the kind of the front person that came out of a band Porcupine Tree, kind of a heavy prog band all through the 2000s, and he's just somebody who writes so much, and there's things. I mean, he did an album that was like wrote my divorce once, and it's like, how did he do that? Every song was like an odd, like, are you in my head? Get out of my head, even. And just somebody like that. I would invite people to go check out Steven Wilson now.
Okay. And another question Rob likes to ask: do you have any good jokes for us?
Any good jokes?
Yeah, and you don't have to be clean.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's any children around.
Well, when it's delivered joke time, there's one that I always go to, and it was when the judge told Mickey Mouse, I can't grant your divorce because Minnie Mouse is crazy. And he said, she ain't crazy. I said she was fucking goofy.
I did some last minute research on Kenny Moon, which this is a band, Kenny Moon and Ground Control, but he's got some solo stuff too, and I was kind of jamming it on the way to the venue. And first thing I popped in a couple songs, and I always feel like I'm insulting people. Hey, your band reminds me of so and so, but first thing I thought was Captain Beyond, and they seem like genuinely flattered by that. So, what do you what would you call that kind of music? Is that that's like just is it psychedelic hard rock, stoner rock? What do they call it these days?
We just had this conversation the other night. It's a conversation we have often. Like psychedelic hard rock, I think.
Psychedelic hard rock,
alternative indie, or
I don't know.
I tell you what I loved most about what I heard is like the really old school reverb on the vocals and on the way that it was recorded, and the bass tone. Is that an Ampeg?
So it's actually like a bass preamp. It's a 12AX7 driven just preamp. I don't use any cabs or anything.
Oh man, it sounds good. Yeah. On the so you got two new. Or I don't know how I didn't catch the year on them. You've got two singles out. Mm-hmm. That was all I saw on iTunes. And what
the last year.
In the last year,
They were about a year apart, actually, almost exactly by the day, actually.
So you've got two singles out. What were the titles on those?
You're Older and Love You All the Time.
You're Older is spelled Y-E-R if you're looking that up. Y-E, You're Older.
Yeah.
What's that about? You don't even look old.
The song?
Yeah.
It's kind of just like describing what life is like in a lot of ways, you know, just the patterns that you can't avoid, you know, the sun coming up and going down, and you know, just experiencing it and being affected by it, the old age, you know, the age of your life affecting you.
Oh, and I should have done this right up front. I want to get everybody's names. This is Kenny Moon on the left with the chest tattoo there and the turquoise amulet, and
Coco is.
Coco Hayes.
Coco is.
Coco is okay, and
Shane.
Shane. And what's your bass? Obviously, Coco's a bass, and then
Drums.
Shane is drums, and very cool. Trying to think of a good question to ask here. What would Rob ask right now? Give me a raunchy joke.
afraid of it.
Give me a raunchy joke. Then the rest of his questions are boring. That's right, Rob.
I should have had a joke at this point. I think I looked up jokes last week, actually, because I was asked the same question.
He put you on the spot. That's what, you know.
What's the difference between jam and jelly?
Oh, yes.
We all know the answer. We don't need to. That one just stays right here at all times.
That's great.
What's up? We got Ed Schmidt walking behind us over here.
Ed Schmidt.
Promoter extraordinaire, Ed Schmidt. We're doing an interview with Kenny Moon for Rob right now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Rob couldn't make it tonight.
Rob, I'm guest hosting here. So, so give me a rundown. This is Rob's boring who are your influences question. We'll do that one.
I think, like right now at this time, we're really heavily influenced by King Crimson as a band.
Which era?
All of it, honestly.
All of it?
The 80s is really cool. The early 80s stuff, like Indiscipline and that kind of thing, but just all of it, really.
Yeah.
We've been kind of exploring that, and really right now we're in a weird spot as a band. We just kind of took a little bit of a break from shows, and we're getting back into like a little more progressive stuff. We're trying to approach that a little bit heavier. So definitely King Crimson.
King Crimson.
I don't know. Jack White in my early years, like as a guitar player specifically, like he's probably my biggest influence as a single person.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it changes all the time.
Yeah, I'm heavily influenced by, like, lately King Crimson is big, but a lot of jazz, progressive jazz, stuff like that. That's where my drumming has been kind of going. Simon Phillips, one of my favorite drummers.
Oh, wow.
Bill Bruford's great. I mean, and then always the Dead for me, always.
I've honestly been listening to a lot of professionals, like recently, like Aaron Spears.
Also Latin
And
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we're all three.
Elise and Tom, and
Yeah.
George Benjor is like a huge like influence generally.
Yeah, okay.
Frank Zappa for me personally, I always dig into that kind of thing.
Do you think he would have been more respected as a guitar player today if he hadn't gone the comedy music route?
Anytime you come to me like that,
I don't necessarily view Frank Zappa as like comedy music.
Yeah.
It's in so much as it's like in spite of how serious people take most music anyway. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of really, really interesting and like well thought out content that is just like he displays it in like a really, in sometimes a kind of funny way. But like you think about songs like Uncle Remus. You know, Uncle Remus is such a heavy song, and it's like it's funny because his voice is funny, I guess, but like the content is actually really like emotionally heavy. He just comes across in a different way, and like he got laughed out of orchestra and stuff for that same reason, that people thought he was too like doing things that were too silly or too this or too that, and I think that his music is a response to that. Just like
That's one of the same criticisms people give Fish, and
Fish is like one of my
or
was one of my favorite bands.
It's a very polarizing band, but they're undeniably amazing musicians. I love Fish.
I put Frank Zappa top 5 guitar players for sure, just because of how unique his voice is. And not only that, like when he shredded blues and shit, like
one of the guys you played with, like George Duke. Oh my god!
And the guys from the Turtles, Flo and Eddie, or what was their names? Mark Bowman and Howard Kalin, I think.
Yeah.
The Turtles backup singers. You've seen their movie 200 Motels?
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool because he didn't make that movie about himself. He made it about his band. I don't know. I love that one. I watched that one on VHS tape a long time ago back in the day.
It's kind of expository of like the way that he thought.
Yeah.
It's like it was even though he was a very like opinionated and kind of hard person, from what I understand. It kind of like that, like those kinds of pieces of content exposed that it was for everybody else.
Yeah.
Like it was always for everybody else.
If you ever seen him go up against the PMRC in the 80s, that was, you remember that? I don't know, you guys may not be old enough to remember that.
I wasn't alive then.
Yeah, Parents Music Resource Center or something.
Yeah.
It was Al Gore's wife, Tipper.
Right.
Yeah.
And, Steven Snyder had a lot to do with that too.
Dee Snyder. From Twisted Sister.
What was the other thing Zappa was on? The Crosshairs, where it was like a socio-political show, like just like some kind of commentary, like people would debate. It was two sides. I don't know if you're familiar, but it was in the 80s at some point, and maybe even the late 70s. But it was when that kind of thing was coming up, it's like, lyrics and how, they wanted to censor music, essentially. And he went on there, and they expected to be able to just like say whatever to him in aggressive ways, and of course that wasn't going to happen. He made them look like fools. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So have you guys done out of town shows? You toured at all?
Not toured.
Not toured.
We played in Lexington. We love Lexington.
We're Green Lantern.
We're playing the Burl next
The
Thursday.
Burl. Oh, moving on up.
Yeah, trying.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're playing the Burl. We just played a place called Girls Burritos.
Okay.
It was cool. It's like a little tiny, it's basically one room, and there's like a wraparound bar, and they have like really dope burritos, and it like turns into like a bar, more like a night scene at the like towards the night, but it's all ages still.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really fun. Played to like a packed room, and it was just really good reactions.
Played with a band called Killer Kaiju.
Yeah,
They are fucking.
Yeah, you,
it's our
Rob,
voice.
you need to get a hold of those guys and check them out
For sure.
Absolutely.
Killer Kaiju.
They're our buds, and they're really, really good.
Yeah.
So I was just curious, and this is not just for the band, but actually you, Kenny, just by yourself. Because I was really impressed with the recording sounds. Do you do those yourself, or do you hire the recording stuff?
I do. So a lot of my solo stuff, there's one track that's called Shaken. That is actually produced by Devin Snelling of Elephant Path. But the rest of my solo stuff is all self-recorded and mixed and mastered. And then all of our new stuff, KMGC, all of this stuff is live tracked So, you know, we do everything one take, no overdubs, anything like that. We overdub vocals just because the situation we're in, we can't really record vocals.
It's not really one take though, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys do a
It is
great
one
deal
take,
of
but it
improvisation.
takes us a million.
Oh yeah. The one you get
Tracking.
is one.
Yeah.
So
but it is live recorded.
Yeah, and then I mix it down, like with the help of these guys, of course. You know, like I'm always sending files, and you know, we're all listening to it intently and putting our input in. It's not just me or like, this is how I'm gonna mix it and it's done. You know, it's very, you know, collective.
Oh, very cool. You guys do a lot of improvisation, or are you like Skinner, where you kind of play everything? Everything's kind of like a template, where you always play it the same way every time.
We have the songs as framework, and within the songs, there's basically like sections that could be however long. You know, they could end up being 20, 30 minutes at a time if that is what it calls for. But we always have like things that bring us back to those main ideas to go back into the songs, and it's mostly improv. I'd say 50 to 70% of our show is notes we've never played.
I think that's what Dave was kind of telling me. He's like, watch these guys; they listen to each other, and you're kind of like communicating with each other on stage. It's like an exploratory kind of thing.
For sure.
More that, yeah.
That is all our time we have for now. Thank you for listening to Undergroundopolis. Remember, we do this every Wednesday night, bringing you new and exciting artists every week. Be sure to hit up their websites and social media and stream or download their music. If you like this show, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, any streaming platform, and leave us a review as well. I'm your host, Rob Lyon, signing off.